Thanks to our amazing presenting sponsors, you continue to elevate this conversation around the globe, truly around the globe. We couldn't do it without you and your support and your investment in this conversation. So thanks again for all that you do to elevate this conversation. Julia Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy. Good morning to you, Julia.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, wonderful. And I am Jarrett Ransom, the nonprofit nerd, CEO of the Raven Group. And thrilled to have 30-day mindset makeover, navigating a new attitude. Rachel joins us today. Rachel is the CEO of Small Shop Strategies. We've already had a little bit of conversation with her behind the scenes. A super cool woman doing amazing things out there really for these small shops. And so thrilled to have you join us today, Rachel. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
You know, Rachel, Jarrett and I mean, and for those of you that are fans of the show and we're talking about this, we talk about our origin story a lot because it's a little kooky based on the concept that I had the mindset that the COVID issue was like a 2-week, 3-week issue tops. It was a little bump in the road and we're just going to move on. And really over this time since middle March, Jarrett and I have talked a lot about mindset, our communities, our sectors, you know, and we're finding that this is something that we should have been talking about all along. You know, it speaks to so many issues that are foundational to the health of the nonprofit sector. So when I found you, I was like, this is my woman, because we're still not really talking about mindset. So I'm super honored that you would come and talk with us and really kind of give us an insight. And so I want to start with, what is a healthy mindset?
Whew, that's a loaded question.
How much time do we have?
Yeah. Okay. Buckle up. This is something that I think conversations are being had within friend groups, within your family, within schools. You know, how do we approach this new normal? Because this isn't going away. And what we remember as the olden days are now behind us, and it's time to really set ourselves up for success by getting our head on straight. And especially in the nonprofit sector, I can see us going down this path of woe is me and this scarcity mindset because, oh my gosh, my gala got canceled, so what am I going to do? Or, oh my gosh, my donors don't have any money, so what are we going to do? And so your mindset is so incredibly important. And we're nonprofits. We are scrappy and we are feisty and we can do big things, but it starts in our brain.
Yeah. And we're super resourceful. And I love everything you've said so far. And I couldn't echo it louder, right? Like I am right there on the train with you. And I think one of the things, you know, when it comes to that scarcity mindset, unfortunately, that has been around a long time. I remember one of my examples, you know, I always say, if money wasn't an issue, what would you ask for?
Yes, right? I love that question.
And I kid you not, a program director said to me, a new coffee pot. And I thought, I will buy you a new coffee pot. Let's think bigger than coffee pot, you know? So you've been, you know, just pushing a boulder up a mountain for so long, where it's really become the natural language, the narrative, and it's really hard to shift that for some people. So I'm excited to learn from you because I feel like I keep saying the same things over and over and over. So maybe I just need a new way to phrase it.
I love it. Well, and it really starts with self-care and looking inside and realizing what are the things that you are doing that are not honoring your boundaries, honoring yourself, honoring the body that you are, you know, that you have, your brain. I mean, all these things. And there's some really simple self-care tips that I have that are so important to just taking care of yourself. That is the easiest place to start.
Yeah. So, you know, so many of us have had to rediscover our work patterns and our styles and how we work with the people that we used to go to work with,
Right. Yeah.
And so I'd love to start maybe by having you talk about how you get your team on board. So like, for example, if we address self-care ourselves and we address our own mindset, that's one thing. But then the frustration becomes, I think, for a lot of us, is that our team isn't rowing in the same direction. So I'd love for you to talk about what's the power of getting that group to, join in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So if everyone in a nonprofit is a leader,
Mm-hmm.
and you are responsible for the culture of your organization and the culture of your team. And if you're the executive director,
Mm-hmm.
if you aren't taking days off, if you are working through lunch, if you are staying super late, if you're answering emails at 4:00 in the morning, your team is going to feel that. And they're going to feel this sense of, oh my gosh, I need to wake up immediately and answer all the emails that I've just received. Where you could, it starts with you. That's what I want to say, is it starts with you,
Mm-hmm.
and you at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And that trickles down. But then it's the responsibility of every single leader within a team to check in with your teammates. I don't have kids, I have dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the day, I am up 25 times just as I'm settling into a project or whatever, because a dog is, getting into something. I live on a farm, so they're always getting into something. But I cannot imagine being a parent who is trying to homeschool and trying to work at the same time. And it's about communication. You want to have a conversation with your teammates. You want to check in with your peers and make sure that they're doing okay. It starts right there. Having a conversation. Are you doing okay? And then it's adapting to this new environment. So do your employees have the setup that they need to have are they working on the couch? Do they need a desk? Some people may choose to work on the couch, and that's totally okay. But do your employees have the things that they need to be successful?
The
Asking that
example you
question.
gave me when we first start just gives me anxiety and stress, of like, are you waking up at 4:00 and finding emails or writing emails? And it's like, oh gosh, I've been there, like I've really been there. And it just feels so heavy, so weighty. And, I'm really grateful and blessed right now in my life. My mom will say to me, and I don't even know if she's on right now, but I'll say, oh, I'm going to get a pedicure today, or I'm going to get a massage. And she's like, I wish I had your life. And I said, you can. You absolutely can. You have to put yourself first so that you can take care of so many other things, right? And whether it's dogs or cats or kids or partners, there's always something going on. Amazon doorbell rings, right? Like it's a little bit of everything. And so I love that you're really focusing on this and that you've made a career out of this mindset shift, because it's so important.
Well, okay, so let me tell you a story. It was, probably 3 years ago. I was an executive director. I was a hot mess. I was just frazzle, McDazzle. I was going a million miles an hour. And that's just the pace that I kept. It was not healthy. I was not taking care of myself. I would try to, on a Sunday, go for a hike somewhere where I didn't have service, so I wasn't answering emails, or I would, go for a massage or go for a pedicure. And those would help for a second or two.
A little bit.
And what really hit me, I was cleaning out some boxes, and I found a gift certificate, and it was a gift certificate to a spa that this was a lot of money. And my board had given it to me 2 years ago, and I had not used it. And I was sitting there looking at this, and I was like, why didn't I use this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized self-care is not about going and getting that massage, getting the pedicure, going for a hike. Those help, those are part of it. But self-care is looking at those insecurities, looking at those things that are troubling you and frustrate you and stress you out every single week and dealing with them.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if you have a toxic board member, you need to have a conversation. It's hard and it's scary, but you need to have that conversation. You need to get yourself organized. You need to know what you're doing every single day, what the, you know, your annual plan is. How are you going to have conversations with donors or make sure that you are writing thank you notes on a timely manner? It's getting those systems and that structure set up. That's self-care. Those are the things in our organizations that we're not doing. We are skimming over them. We're working till 2 a.m. We're having Doritos for dinner. And that's not healthy.
Have you looked in my window? Is that where you saw me doing that? I know it.
You know,
tell us about, you know, creating these sustainable habits. So for someone that, for instance, my mom, right? She'll say, oh, I wish I had your life. Like, clearly there needs to be habits put in place, because what I just learned from you is doing those actions aren't necessarily self-care. I would paraphrase that to say, you know, some maintenance actions. So hopefully
I want to be very clear that I'm a big fan of massages and a big fan of pedicures in COVID times, you know, when it's safe.
So how does someone even create these habits?
Okay, I am a big fan of starting with the essentials. And so the essentials are getting sleep. So I am one who, you know, so often we are burning the candle at both ends. So you're up early, you're up late, like you can only do that for so long. And I'm not as young as I used to be. So really, those are few and far between. But picking one, you know, if you were an early riser, then get up and you know you do your best work in the morning, great. If you do your best work from like 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., great. Do your thing. I'll be sleeping. So sleep, drinking enough water. So recommended that you're drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water every single day. I fill up my water jug. I have this ridiculous water jug from Amazon that I fill up, and it sits on my counter and I watch it go down. And then I, you know, drink your water. Your brain functions better. You're clear. You're more focused.
Gives you more energy.
Goes away. More energy. And, you know, you're mostly made up of water. So, you know, give your body what you need. So sleep, water, food. Make sure you're eating good food. And, you know, I'm a big fan of meal prep. It's one of those things that I think as, I don't know, as a busy nonprofit executive director, I did not make time for. And so I had those Doritos for dinner, and that was not okay. And so making sure that you set that time aside to make a big pot of soup or, you know, a big salad so that you can have it, you know, for a few meals. I guess salad doesn't really go, but you know what I'm saying, meal prep. And so, you know, starting with those essentials is there's a fourth one and I'm totally blanking
You'll
on
think
it
of
right
it.
now.
That's okay. So, you know, when you talk about this, one of the things that we're going to get everybody on board with is you come up with a really interesting 30-day mindset makeover. And this is what I loved about this, Rachel, is that it was a navigation towards change. It wasn't just like you hear one thing and it's like, come on, shake out of it, you know, change your mindset. It's very specific things. It's a calendar approach that allows everybody a path forward. And it seems like, and maybe this is just my interpretation, so tell me what you think, but it seems like the concept is achieve something small and keep building on it.
Yes, absolutely. So the fourth one is movement.
Okay, yeah.
Moving your body, going for a walk, making sure that you have that. And you are so right. If you can get those 4 things down, your body is going to feel better. So it's going to be easier to tackle the tasks in front of you. You're going to be more focused. Your brain is going to function better. You're going to sleep better. Everything is going to work better within your body. So then you take the mindset makeover, and every single day. So here's actually how I recommend doing it. So I have it printed out. It's actually something that it's hung up in my office. I refer to it when I'm having just one of those days where I'm like frazzled, like I'll pick something, be like, okay, I'm going to wipe off my desk and clean my area where I'm working. Something as simple as that can just clear the slate. And so that's the first thing on the mindset makeover is clean up your area. Give yourself a organized place to just work and to focus, where you don't have all your sticky notes, you don't have all your piles of paper, all the things that you know you need to file. Give yourself an hour and just put on some music and clean your area.
It shifts the energy, I've noticed. It really shifts the energy and makes it more conducive to productivity, right? Not just busyness, but results and productivity. And one of the things I like to do, and I'd be curious if it's on your mindset challenge. So for those of you that might have looked away from the screen, we just put up where you can download the 30-day mindset challenge. But one of the things I love to do for self-care is to purchase flowers. And I'll buy myself a small bouquet of flowers. I'll leave it on my office desk, right? So if I can do this weekly, it really does bring me joy. It just makes me happy. It's one of those small things that says, like, just acknowledge what's in front of you. And that's something that I like to do. It could be wildflowers, right? It could just be like a little bundle or bouquet from the grocery store when I pick up my food for meal prep, which I'm not so good at meal prep, but I keep seeing that on so many other people's stories and threads. And I'm like, I want to do better at that.
It makes a difference when you're eating good food and you don't have to think about it, Right. So then you're not grabbing for the things that aren't so healthy, or, things that are filled with sugar. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not always great at it, and I definitely like my sweets, my ice cream, but
well, it's a practice.
It is.
Yeah. And I know for me, I get super busy and then I get hangry and I have nothing to eat or nothing that's prepared. And I'm like, okay, Uber Eats it is, I'll just order something, which then it's just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. When really I have a fridge full of food. I'm just, I haven't got my ducks in order. So.
Exactly. And that's back to the habits. That is something, you're not going to be great at. You're not going to be able to, just say, okay, today I'm going to get all the sleep and drink all the water and eat all the great food. And no, you're going to not do any of them. Go right back to all of your bad habits and back where you start. So pick one thing, focus on it for a week. If you have it down for a week, then try adding something else in. I really like the idea of adding things in when you're trying to add new habits. I feel like it's easier to add them in than deprive. Although I am not eating sugar right now, and that is really, really hard.
That would be hard. We have a comment from my guest. I love this. I'm going to share it. She writes, great suggestions. I'm seeing a water jug challenge in my near future.
Yes. I love it.
That's wonderful.
So let me put this back up, because I think this is really an interesting thing. This is something that Rachel has offered to all of our viewers, that you can go onto her website and download the 30-day mindset makeover. It's a PDF, smallshopstrategies.com, and you can navigate your way through Rachel's website to get this. And it's really common sense. But I think what I found about it, Rachel, was that it is a challenge to say, yeah, I'm going to tackle one thing. And I like what you're saying, try and master one thing and then add, as opposed to edit. And I thought that's really a good way to see success, I think.
And some of them are really easy, like clean off your desk.
Yeah.
But some of them, so I'm going to pull this up here, are a little harder. Like scheduling a no distractions hour and commit to it for the next 4 weeks. Ooh. So, yeah.
That one hurts.
Yep, putting that on your calendar for let's just do this. But then there's also, like make a playlist that you really enjoy, or make a stop doing list. Oh, I love a good stop doing list.
Talk about that. That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Oh yeah. So we all have the things that we know we're not supposed to be doing, or that, like checking your email immediately when you wake up in the morning.
Mhm.
Don't do that. We know it's not good for you. Give yourself some time to wake up, have your coffee, create a morning routine. I'm a big fan of the morning routine. But so often we open up our email,
Yeah.
see those emails from, the crazy person who likes to email at 4 a.m. It gets us all jacked up. We feel like we have to run to our computer and answer those. Stop doing that. So I like every once in a while, probably once a quarter, I write a stop doing list, and then I just focus on one, because if I have 20 things on my list, which I easily have 20 things that I should stop doing,
Yeah.
I try to focus on one at a time. And really that's how I've been able to build these habits and create this self-care routine and really work on my mindset. And it was as an executive director when I realized I knew I was smart. I knew I was scrappy. I knew I was resourceful, but I would get into this scarcity mindset of, oh, I just don't know how we're going to do this. And, it was like one roadblock after another. And that doesn't work for me. You need to take a step back and think about all the things that you can do, because as organizations, you just have to figure out, yes, it's a hurdle, but how are you going to get around it? And that is what is crucial. And this is part of that mindset makeover, is training your brain to see a hurdle and figure out a way around it, not just stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I would think that is what I love hearing about that is, I think this time in history, that's sage wisdom, because there are so many new hurdles and challenges that you can look at them as, stop you dead in your tracks, devastation, or maybe something that's more of an opportunity. Yeah. That takes a lot of fortitude.
Mm-hmm. But it can be done. It's just
that
stopping.
mindset.
Yes, it's stopping yourself when you're like, oh, what's a good example? Oh, my donors don't want to give because, there's a pandemic going on and they don't have any money. Not true.
It's so not true. No, I love having those conversations, because I've found that truly the most successful organizations are the ones that did not hit the pause button, right? They're bobbing and weaving and navigating the course just right along with everyone else. But they didn't stick to the sidelines. They didn't hit pause. And it doesn't mean that we know what to do or that we have all the answers. But it means that we're not giving up. We're not quitters. And we're not, we're not going to say, we're going to wait until this passes, because, clearly, Julia, it's been way more than 2 weeks.
Oh my God. Somebody said to me not too long ago, when is your 2 weeks up?
I love that. I love that.
Holy cow. Because, it is a mindset.
Yeah.
And it is I think, for me, maybe it was like, well, I can do anything for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, did you say back to them, only 2 more weeks?
No, I should have, but you know what? When I got that as an email from somebody who I don't really know, but a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And it really kind of like, whoa, it was kind of a shakeup, because I thought to myself, it's a coping strategy. It's a mindset, and it's a framing of how you navigate challenge, opportunities, tasks, task management, leadership. And not such a good thing. Not such a good thing. Because if you're only working out,
No, I know. I have a question. I'm looking at the time, and I just know I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
I would love to add you into my morning routine, where I just grab a cup of coffee and just sit and chat.
You'll love it.
How are you finding this message across the different generations. Now, this is when you clutch your pearls, and Julia will say, it's hard to believe, but there's a 20-year age gap, right, between Julia and myself. And then I've even brought in examples of my mom, who is, 30 years older than myself. But how are you seeing this message landing with the different generations?
Oh, that's such a good question. I will say that that is a good question.
Okay, well, think on it, because I want to know. I really want to know how this is landing.
I think that the younger generations who are on the front lines, who are more of the program staff, they are in the thick of the stress and the chaos, and on those front lines, having to really implement whatever is coming their way. I mean, I feel like they're like in a go-kart, just like weaving, like dodging all of these crazy things that are popping up. And so I think everybody knows this fundamentally. They know the basics of, they need to take care of themselves. But I don't know that they always realize when they have that scarcity mindset. And whereas I think that, I'm not being as articulate as I want. What I want to say is that it runs across all generations. If you have a scarcity mindset, that's trickling down to your program people, to your entire staff. And so, is it the program person who's like, okay, I can't be at this warp speed anymore, saying something to the executive director? Or is it the executive director saying, okay, I've been doing it this way for so long, I got to make a shift? I have people in my program from 68 all the way to, I think my youngest was 25, 24. So this stuff lands, but it's up to you if you're willing to kind of step back from the things that you are used to and the norms that you have gotten comfortable with, and saying, okay, this isn't working, I need to make a change.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing. So many great tips, a great reminder, I know. So appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Thank you so much.
It's been great. Again, I want to remind everybody, I'm Julia Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy. Jarrett Ransom, my co-host, the Nonprofit Nerd, CEO of the Raven Group. We've been joined by Rachel Bearbower. I knew I wasn't going to get that right. Of Small Shop Strategies. Really quickly before we go, you have a new kind of cohort lesson situation going on.
I do. I have a program called Small Shop School, and it's taking small shop nonprofits through the planning process. And so going from your annual plan all the way to your 90-day plan, and how you break that down so you know exactly what you're doing on a daily basis. Awesome. Going from eliminating the chaos and the crazy and ending the year with confidence and clarity. So it's, if you want to check it out, it's smallshopstrategies.com/school.
Cool. So also the 30-day Mindset Makeover, go to Rachel's website as well to download that. Jarrett, I interrupted you, dear.
No, I just said awesome. I'm so excited. I'll definitely be downloading the makeover.
Yeah, it's super cool. Great information. Hey, I want to remind everybody about the Nonprofit Atlas. It's a directory for nonprofits. Go to nonprofitatlas.com. It's a new thing that the American Nonprofit Academy is doing. You see all sorts of different products, consultants, people that you can reach out to. It's a super cool thing that we're really excited to have been launching. If you've got questions for us for Ask and Answer, our Friday show presented by Your Part-Time Controller, you have 4 ways to get to us. So send us those questions. You get to stump the chumps, as we like to say. Who's the chump? I don't know, but it's one of us. But it's really fun. It's every Friday. So send us your questions and we'll try and get them on the air. We want to thank all of our presenting sponsors. Without you, we could not have this dialogue. And this has been the Nonprofit Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Rachel, thank you so much. You've helped me kind of articulate some new ways to think about my mindset. And we're going to end like we do every day. Stay well so you can do well. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate you.